Don't know if baby is mine or not. My wife accused me of cheating on her 6 months ago. Then we argued and she left. I had no idea where she went. Later she told me she went to her sister's. We found out we were pregnant a month later. She told me it was mine. In June her ex sent her an email with pics talking about the last time, if you know what I mean. We modified her Facebook account to a joint account after we got married. A month after we found out we were pregnant, marriage and baby were planned. I went to her messages, checked her archived messages, and wouldn't you know. Okay. The message, without going into detail, was her, "I'm drunk, watching things, I need you, here is my room number at this hotel, I'll be there in 5 minutes." We were engaged and she was wearing an expensive diamond ring that I bought for her. When I confronted her, I did not disclose that I found the messages. I bet she forgot they were even there. This is what she said: "It's none of your business, we were broken up because you kicked me out," which turned into, "I never saw him," which turned into, "We only talked in my car," which turned into, "We had a drink in the hotel bar," which turned into, "We talked in my room," which turned into, "We slept together but nothing happened," and finally, "We met for fun but there was no emotion, it was just pure physical." Now, here is the kicker. That got me thinking, and I asked her, "How far along are you in your pregnancy?" She said 26 weeks. I looked at the calendar and 26 weeks before is when she sent the message. So, this is what I'm thinking. She created an argument to be able to justify leaving me, to meet her ex, and had a good time. When confronted, she treated me like I was bullying her. She got pissed, and even after she admitted it, she apologized once for getting caught. Should I fold the cards and walk away from the table? Should I give her another chance? If the baby is mine, I don't want to miss out on my child's future. But surely if it's not, then I'm popping smoke. I need some advice from someone who has gone through this. For some reason I feel bad that she had to go outside our relationship for physical gratification. I have lost both my self-esteem and confidence in my ability to keep my wife happy. And the fact that I'm super pissed about this doesn't help any. Do you know they don't have an ongoing relationship right now? I never really thought about it like that. I mean, she dropped a message and the guy literally was in the way to see her. To go into more detail about their history, and bear with me, I found this all out literally 3 days ago, as I was sitting at the deployment readiness facility getting ready to go to Afghanistan. She texted him about chilling a month after we got together, called him on Thanksgiving and talked for 3 hours, after I worked a night shift, then went to eat with her family, then went back to work with no sleep, and stepped out to take care of some family business numerous times the week before that argument. I know what is going on between the two, but I may still be in denial because I love this girl so hard. It is very hard to believe that she would do all this to me. I haven't been the perfect guy, but I had to erase all my friends from Facebook who weren't related to me that were girls. Man, I think it just hit me. I got played for rent, food, gas money. Money for her to go see her friends, if that was even what she was doing. And I even paid for the damn hotel room she got stuck in. Just to clarify what I meant by me kicking her out, we were lying in bed and she just said, "I think you are talking to other girls." I grabbed the computer and logged on, while the screen was still loading. I slid the computer over to her and said, "There you go." And she said she wouldn't find anything because I was good at hiding it. And my reply was, "No, you won't find anything because there is nothing to find." That started a huge argument in which she just kept saying hurtful things and asking me if I wanted her to leave. About the 10th time she asked me, I said, "What would you say if I said yes? I want you to leave," and poof. Out she went saying, "Fine. You want me gone? I'm gone." About an hour later she was with her ex. I admit I have been very angry with her at times, but I found out that when she does things like that I just sit back and let her do her thing because it's usually something I have no control over and she just needs to vent. I had no idea she was messaging her ex all day trying to set up a time and place for them to meet. She didn't innocently ask me if something was going on. She acted like who was about to whip out some evidence or something like, "What the hell is this?" But there was nothing. She just blew up at me. She got nasty. Then nastier until I asked her what she would do if I wanted her to leave. And then she counts that as me forcibly kicking her out of the house and locking the door behind her. To hear her tell me the story later, you would have thought she got her ass kicked. It totally scares me because she has convinced herself that I forcibly removed her. But she knew what she was doing. Not more than 2 hours later her and her ex were going at it in the hotel. This wasn't a physical breakup, and he didn't take advantage of her. She knew full well what she was doing when she messaged him that she was drunk, horny, looking at porn, and come get it. I have no police records, 9 years of active duty service in the Marines. I'm in the Army Reserve now. I have 2 active security clearances, and I'm doing work overseas making good money. He's a felon, who's abusive, moving job to job, mooching off of people. Of course, I don't know him personally, that's just what she tells me. But your analysis is spot on. He's the guy who treats her like crap and she eats it up. I keep good food on clean dishes and keep her phone turned on and the gas tank full. When she admitted to cheating, I told her I wanted a paternity test right away, and she agreed but tried to convince me it wasn't necessary. The major concern is, I might not get to go home for the birth, and I don't think she would take a paternity test if I ordered one online and had it sent to her. I talked to a lawyer and there is no good way I could get a court-ordered test. I have to file for divorce. And they won't order a test until the baby is born. I'm on the verge of filing on her. But there are so many things that I worry about too. If the baby is mine, I don't want to punish my son because of her actions, and I'm hoping that the kid being mine will change the way she feels about me. I also need more time to set myself up when we do split, if the kid isn't mine, she'll realize that she made the mistake of her life in cheating on me. We have talked more about it since I got here, and she has tried to reassure me that it won't happen again. But I heard the same thing every time I caught her talking to her ex before. Either way, I'm trying to focus on protecting my brothers and sisters here. I've tried to contact lawyers here. There is a huge lag time in conversation due to time difference though. I am trying to determine the paternity before doing anything rash. I am trying to file for legal separation so she can still take care of the child through my insurance. I know, but I'm not that type of guy who's just going to dump the woman I love on the street corner and just leave her there. I want to see this thing through until the baby is born. After paternity is determined, we will go from there. For the meantime, I am trying to separate and make sure she still has a healthy pregnancy regardless of who the father is. In the long run, this will be better for me, her and the baby in case it is mine. It's just hard dealing with everything since I am here and can't really talk to her face to face to determine her motives. I also believe that she may still be seeing OM. But what can I do from here? Almost a year since PA, 6 months since I found out. She and ex had a great time together near Valentine's Day last year in a Holiday Inn. I'm a driver for my job and pass maybe 10 Holiday Inns each day. Every time I pass one it triggers the thoughts, how do I defeat it? This is just too hard for me. I love my wife and I am trying to forget about it. But my thoughts are just so centric on her and her ex so much because of the triggers. It's affecting my marriage and the way I'm starting to treat my wife. I try to imagine a stop sign, thinking of random stuff, or just counting to 10. It doesn't help. My thoughts somehow migrate to him and her engaged in the most unforgivable actions. I can't stand to live my life with this much heartache and emotional pain every day. I need some advice. I have tried to get us in counseling, going on 4 months now with no progress. I'm still a little confused as to why she had the affair. I have read other stories about their partner's remorse and overwhelming guilt that drove them to confess, but I have yet to see true remorse in my partner. As it stands, my wife has told me she is completely devoted to earning my trust back and getting the old me back. We are scheduled to attend our first session in about a month and I'm curious as to how I should play my part in the recon during counseling. Like I said, I'm not sure what drove her to cheat. What is the reason for infidelity discussed in a session and how far back would the discussion go? Or is the session directed with how does that make you feel after the fact questions? The reason I'm asking this is because I have read numerous posts from the Waywards about their spouse not giving them X, so they went outside the relationship to get it from someone else. This confuses me greatly, because in my attempt to decipher my misstep that would have caused her to step out, I have discovered that I am apparently the best man in all aspects of random that she has ever met. Okay, realistically I understand she is going to be very gentle with how she talks to me for a while, but her reason for cheating has boiled down to he was just there. No affection, no attraction, no guilt, no remorse, no expectations, just a simple fact that the bed was big enough for both of them and he wanted something she had no respect for herself to say no to. So, my thoughts are twofold. How do I figure out what caused her lust for another? What should I do in session if it comes out she just can't say no to strange? Stepson is 8. I married his mother a year ago, and he has caused a lot of problems for my wife and me. His father and my wife were never married. He proposed. She declined. They broke up about 2 months after my stepson was born. He, baby daddy, has physically exed my wife, her mother, her grandmother, her sister, and one my wife's ex-boyfriends by walking up behind him and X a bottle over his head. He has tried to get my wife arrested by planting X in her car. Anonymous tip to my wife's sister's employer that she was taking things. And he tried to get me arrested by calling the child hotline on me. Okay, not bashing my stepson's father, but the problem is, his dad has never had a job. Family is chronic welfare abusers. My stepson has told me that his bedroom doesn't have a floor. It's just dirt. He isn't taken care of at his father's house. They drink, do drugs, fight in front of my stepson. But my stepson loves his father with all his heart. I feel that my stepson's dad is telling him things that cause problems in my marriage. My stepson lies constantly about me. I refuse to be in the same room alone with him because he told his school teacher lies about me. He has told me he hated me about 5 times in the last 2 days, in front of his mother, and she won't back me up, probably because the more I stand my ground the more defiant he becomes. I mean, it's bad. I have never even seen a kid come close to the sheer rage-driven defiance this kid shows toward me. Anyway, I can't punish him because if I do, he cries. And then I'm considered a bully. So, what in the world do I do? I have suggested counseling. She refuses to take him because she is afraid they will just medicate him or make him feel like he has social or behavioral problems. As far as his father, he has a record. DFS has been to his house. It's freaking nasty, but they deemed it inhabitable and not dangerous. I understand that probably 60% of the pushback I'm getting is because of what my stepson's father is telling him. But I feel if I can slowly chip away at the other 40%, then I'll eventually have a respectful, courteous, and manageable stepson with whom I can have a relationship with. Right now, though, he hates me and makes it obvious. The frustrating thing about it is how far the family will go to make him happy even when he is having a very bad socially unacceptable behavior. I mean, sitting at the dinner table in his boxers, after I asked him to put on at least a shirt for supper. Eating mashed potatoes with his hands after I ask him repeatedly to use a utensil. Looking at me and like moaning or singing while he's doing it. And after he gets upset enough to run away from the table yelling at me how much he hates me, his mom and grandma just look at me and say stuff like, "How much does it hurt you for him to eat with his hands? Who is he hurting if he doesn't have clothes on?" My reply is always the same: would he act that way in school? Would he act that way in church? Would that be acceptable on a job interview? What if I were sitting at the dinner table in just boxers with my genitals showing? I quote him not even going to start on what happened when I tried to get him to say excuse me when he would ask his mom for something when we were in the middle of a conversation. You would have thought I had killed his imaginary puppy. Oh, the drama. I just want to know what I can do to teach this boy proper manners. I'm not super strict. The boy has free reign in the house. He will change the TV to a show of his choice when I'm watching something and then sit there and play his iPod games and then scream at me if I ask him to change it back. Do I just forsake the protection from his mother and push the discipline on him regardless? I'm going through with the reconciliation, or lack of. I have found that it has been easier for my wife to let the kids have their way and then take it out on me. I also believe that the kids have seen her treat most of the men in her life, and therefore the kids' lives, this way. I am beginning to recognize patterns in her actions, especially after an emotional episode between her son and I, or when her son gets in trouble at school. She'll literally brush off whatever her son has done and come at me for not saying I love you, or not asking her how her day went, or not doing something she hasn't asked me to, that I am not usually required to do. Okay, so here is where I stand. We discussed my thoughts about my stepson. I want to say though that up until this point I have stood my ground against his outbursts, each more and more outrageous. I realized recently that when my wife's grandmother was bathing my stepson, I overheard him telling her just ridiculous stuff. He almost got me arrested, and I expected her to at least tell him not to tell lies against me. But she did no such thing. He just went on and on about all this crazy stuff. She just kept saying, "Oh yeah, oh that's terrible. Oh, he's a bad man." Anyway, I'm officially disengaged. I won't so much as talk to the kids unless it's to praise them for something they do well. I have a meeting with a lawyer soon. We'll go from there. Divorce is on the horizon and I should get custody rather easily. About the ring. She had the ring about 2 months. We argued. She left and met her a P at the hotel. All of it pre-staged, okay. I asked her if he saw it, touched it. She said yes. So I returned the ring. We are married and she does not. And as far as I'm concerned, we'll never have a ring. Not a nice one, maybe something from Walmart. Here is the problem. She brought up the ring a few months after D-Day. Wanted to know where it was. I told her she could have it back when she didn't cheat on me. She said she was faithful, and my reply was basically go duck yourself if you believe you're getting another ring to wear while laughing at me in a hotel room showing off to your AP what a schmuck I am for giving you that and you not being faithful. So, now she's becoming more aggressive about it. My reply is always the same. I did give you a ring, you had it on your finger when you did whatever with whoever. Not happening again. So, what would the peanut gallery do? I refuse to give her a ring. We are married though, and I'm sure she's at least trying to be faithful. But I don't know, or care enough about it to worry. I am STD free, the baby is mine, and the ring is gone forever. I'm never giving her another one. The only reason I'm with her is my son, and it's a haggard relationship now. She still does her Facebook and has her time. Is she cheating? I don't care. As long as she doesn't neglect or abuse the boy, then I'll stay. About a month ago, we were out to lunch. Waitress came over and offered something. I wasn't paying attention, and as she was walking away, my wife says, "That beach, she was hitting on you right in front of me." I reply, "Oh yeah, she wasn't talking to me." She replied that I needed a ring to let other people know I was off limits. My reply to that was I did not need a ring to remind to not sleep around. I knew what she was trying to say. She was pointing at my finger, but looking at hers. So, last week we're in a diner and an elderly couple came up to us and started talking to us about our son. We had a cute conversation with them and they wished us well with our boy. After they walked off, she told me she wanted us to get rings because she was tired of people thinking we weren't married. I simply said, "You had a ring, did it remind you that you were engaged when you stepped out?" Conversation killed. Now, with all the advice I'm getting about just leaving her and fighting for custody, let me tell you how that worked out for me in my first marriage. I spent the good part of a decade in the military, got out and put my training and experience to use and did some work overseas in security as a civilian. Ridiculous money. Long story short, wrote a check for a new car, wrote a check for a new house. Made $250,000 in a few years. Ex-wife has the car, the house, spent most of the money, and primary custody of my kids. I was lucky the judge didn't set child support at my overseas salary, which would have been about $3,000 a month. So, I can't afford, nor would I want to get divorced because I'm able to control how big the spoon is that my cheating wife eats off of now. And I hate the fact that I can't see my kids whenever I want. And I know if I did get divorced from my current that she would hold my son pawn from me. So, as bad as it might seem to stay for the boy, that's what I'm doing for now. I have since started my own business and it keeps me away from the house so I have both some privacy with my finances and am shielded from the step-kids. There are some problems there too. I understand that it would be best for me to leave, but I cannot risk not seeing my son, paying support again, starting over in my life again. Once I get into a position where I can take care of my son, I will pursue a D in custody. But at the moment, as bad as it might seem, the dysfunctional marriage is more beneficial to me than a dysfunctional divorce. My previous marriage just didn't work out. I have 50-50 custody but don't see them when I have visitation because of relocation and job commitments. The wife doesn't have a job. I guess you could say she gets an allowance. I give her a portion of my salary now for baby and other needs. It's not a lot though. I never had a band, and I returned her engagement and wedding band at the same time. As far as legal juxtaposition, I don't think she'd care enough about it to take me to court or couldn't afford a lawyer who would. As far as finances, she's completely isolated from my finances. I filed my taxes with her the year we met and she saw how much I grossed. After about 7 months of overseas work, and she was floored. I am broke because my ex cleaned everything out and my wife asked me where all of my money went. And I just said that's why we'll never have a joint account and she just said okay. She's not a gold digger by any stretch of the word. But certain actions with the ring tell me there was more to her actions than just cheating. For instance, the ring mimicked, exactly, albeit it was considerably larger, the ring her ex gave her, which is who she cheated on me with. I didn't know that until after I found out she cheated as well. She picked the style of ring and I picked carat, cut and clarity, so, coincidence. Yeah right, another reason I'm refusing to buy her a ring as of yet. I know that down the road if things get better, a ring is almost a certain item that needs to be given. But as for now I just can't see myself gifting her something that looks exactly like what her ex gave her. Who she took to her ex to show off, I believe it was a pseudo-challenge for him to replace it with something equal or better. And who she cheated on me with. She can go without for a while. Comments: if it were me, I might buy a set of plain gold band wedding rings. Tell her these are our wedding rings. You lost your engagement ring because of the affair. In a few years we will revisit whether we should get a new engagement ring. Now waitresses won't be hitting on you because they'll see the ring and every time your wife looks at her ring, she'll think about what she did to lose the engagement ring. Let me get this straight. You dated your now wife while she was engaged to another guy. Then this guy nailed her while you and she were engaged. Really? This could not have been a huge surprise for you. I'm out. OP responds: no, we were single when we met. She had just split up with him when we met. I was separated. We started dating 4 months later when I got back from Iraq. Needless to say, he never really exited stage left. I was under the assumption he had. I found out about the affair after we were married. I looked into an annulment and was told that unless she was not who she said she was, a minor without proper consent, on a mind-altering substance and not aware of what she was doing, under threat of harm, the marriage could not be annulled for infidelity. Chances of me getting custody were slim to none because I could not prove or provide proof of neglect or abuse to my son, since I work and she doesn't. Most judges do not want to alter the spouse's customary way of life and living, and so I would be pegged to provide financially for her until my son turns 18 or she remarries. At least that's what my legal counsel said. I learned one thing: no matter what the woman has done to cause a divorce, she sheds a tear in front of the judge and the guy automatically becomes public enemy number one. Months later, low on funds, living with relatives, I'm working to get her what she needs. So I take about 10% of what I make to feed myself when I'm working. The rest goes to my account, which she has the card to, full access, anytime, anywhere. She not using the money because she wants to be independent, but blames me because she has no money. Last night, an argument started. Bear with me, I asked her a question. She responded sarcastically. Not like inside joke banter, but with discontent prude snarky sarcasm. I asked a follow-up question. Same response. So, I put the phone down. Few hours later I get a question, and I respond with exactly what she said. I got a follow-up question, and again repeated what she had said. Then I got the, fine. If you're just going to be mean, then duck you. I told her I sent her what she sent me, and if she's that upset, she needs to be more respectful to me. So she goes off. And somehow her other man gets brought up. I told her I didn't want to talk about him. She kept going. Okay, 24 hours later. She's divorcing me. I get that threat every 3 days, because I can't stop bullying her about the affair. Hey psycho. You brought him up. I told her. She brought him up. She threatened divorce. She cursed at me. You get the picture. I feel like I'm an athlete. She's the head coach. She lets me have it when the punter shows up drunk, or the linebacker does something dumb. She'll just rant about things I either have no control over, or no knowledge of, and then spins herself into belief that I quote am doing those specific things just to get back at her for the affair. Okay, final question. Divorce is imminent, but how much of a jerk should I be? My comment: if this is a real story, I think OP got a lot of issues. I don't think it's just a simple doormat problem. It's more like he enjoys this kind of drama. He enjoys rescuing people. The problem with that thinking is, if you can't save yourself first, how can you save anyone else? Maybe he has a white knight syndrome. You guys agree with Love TV on this one? Comment down below, sub and bell, and I hope you learned what not to do